Hey everybody, David Reese here. We're on Facebook, coming to you live from Desert Regional Medical Center in Palm Springs. What time is it? I don't even know what time it is. About 11 o'clock this morning. Reports began coming in of some type of an explosion in this area. We now know it's at an office building directly across the street over my shoulder. Can you step over here, David? I don't know if you can get over here, but you can see there's helicopters flying overhead. There's a tremendous response here. There are windows blown out all up and down on the buildings facing the street here, but down here it's directly across the street really from the main entrance to Desert Regional Medical Center. There is a reproductive health building over there. The entire front of it is blown out, and we believe that is where the explosion took place. I want to emphasize we don't know anything about why or what, but I can tell you from the police response here, it looks like there's great concern this may have been a bomb, but we do not have that confirmed. We just know right now that there's been a large explosion in front of Desert Regional, but not at Desert Regional. It's across the street at a reproductive health office here in Palm Springs. So we were just, my photographer David and I were just around the corner by the parking structure trying to shoot some video, and they were moving us all back because there's broken windows and alarms going off. And it looks to me like, based on what they're telling us, that there is some concern that there may still be something over there. So, again, we don't know what caused this, but I can just describe the scene for you. Let's shoot it over here and show them. So that building with the tile roof, that is part of, I believe, this building in let's walk over here. We're going to walk over and see how far we can get. They're really being pretty strict about keeping people out of here. There's a tremendous law enforcement response here, but there's broken windows across the street from, you can hear the alarms. Can you hear that? The alarms in the parking structure are all going off. I think there's broken windows in some of the medical offices that are attached to this parking structure. So that's what those alarms are. There's a lot of people milling about here. I think this is about as far as we're going to be able to go. But again, this appears to be an office building directly across the street from Desert Regional. The main entrance to Desert Regional, if you're familiar with this, it's off property? Okay, we can't go over there? Where can we go? Sidewalks. Yeah. Can we get over there? I mean, it doesn't look like I can go over there, although if I walk out there...
Yeah, we got a major situation in Palm Springs. We'll talk in a second. Reporter is on the scene. An explosion.
Okay, we'll go over there. Thank you. So I don't know if you can hear that, but the hospital is kicking us off their property. So we're going to walk over here. We need to get on a public sidewalk because this is private property. So we'll walk over here. The problem is there's so much crime scene tape and so many areas that are cordoned off. David, let's walk over here.
This is major, folks.
See how close. Ooh, I can smell. Ooh, the smell of fire. You can definitely smell that something has burned over here. Okay. Let's see.
Come on in, folks. We're at Palm Springs.
Hike across the way over here. For those of you familiar with this area, we're in front of Desert Regional. Indian Canyon is just on the other side of this building to my right, and this is the emergency room entrance right here on my left. And let's see if we can get off of the hospital property but onto the street. Oh, yeah, I think we can. I think we'll be okay over here. Okay, let's see. Huh? Okay, let's see what we can see from this vantage point. Okay. All right. Oh, okay, so you can see, oh, there's the front of the building over there. Okay, so I think we may satisfy everybody. Okay, so let me tell you where we are. We are at the corner of Tachiva and Indian Canyon. And the actual The actual building in question is just through those bushes over there. It is a separate building across the street from the hospital. It is some type of reproductive services office, we believe. That's what the sign says out in front. You can see all the debris blown out onto Indian Canyon. And I don't know if you can hear it, but there's a lot of alarms going off. I think all the buildings adjacent to it have a lot of broken windows. There's broken windows up there. Look up on that building. All the adjacent buildings have broken out windows. Look, those are broken out over there too. Wow, a lot of damage to the neighboring buildings. So
this is clearly terrorism, folks. It appears to me.
All right. Yeah, they're pushing. Okay, so I think we're okay. Yeah, they kicked us off. Okay, so again, no confirmation of what the cause of this is, but I'll tell you what I know as of right now. I think this call or this incident happened just a little after 11 a.m. this morning. I started getting phone calls from people, and there was a big flurry of activity on social media, people saying that some type of a major explosion had gone off somewhere over near the hospital. So, of course, we mobilized everybody, and we came over here, and indeed, that is apparently what has happened. It looks like the front of a medical office directly across the street from Desert Regional has been very seriously damaged by what it appears to be some type of explosion. We don't know what caused it, but some type of explosion that was powerful enough to blow a great amount of debris out onto Indian Canyon, and it has broken windows of all of these adjacent buildings. I'm looking around here, and many of the buildings next door and across the parking lot, and I know on the Desert Regional side of Indian, so all the way across Indian, they all have broken windows now. So it was obviously whatever caused the explosion, it was a significant explosion. We don't have any indication of any injuries. Have you heard anything about anybody being transported to the hospital? I have not. So to my knowledge, the good news is that Desert Regional is directly across the street and is still open for business, and the emergency room is it's literally a stone's throw from where this took place. So again, a lot of unanswered questions. Right now it's very early on. We were just on the other side. If you're just joining us, you missed us walking all the way around the hospital. They were kicking us out of the area that we were because they're pushing all the media and all the public back out of an abundance of caution, I think, because they're not sure that the scene is yet secured. So they want to make sure there's no additional threat to anything or that anything else may explode for whatever the cause is. So they moved us all kind of a ways back. We are now we're at the emergency room entrance, basically, for Desert Regional Hospital, which is very close to the corner of Tachiva and Indian Canyon. So that's what we know right now. And like I said, what we don't know far outweighs what we know. At this point, that's the case with most of these situations. There's law enforcement helicopters circling, and I don't know if you can hear it, but there's alarms going off all over the place. There were car alarms going off. Those seem to have silenced, but I think a lot of these buildings that have damaged windows have building alarms going off. So, and you can smell in the air here, there's that sort of that burn smell like after a fire. So you can definitely, you can tell something was on fire here. There is no smoke coming off of the building now, so I can tell you that whatever was burning appears to be out. And I will say that the firefighters were all standing around out in front of the building. So it was, I don't know, it's interesting. They moved us out for our safety, but the firefighters were all just standing in front of the building. They didn't seem too concerned. But again, we were unclear about what caused this and about what the situation is over there now. The fire does appear to be out. Let me see if there's anybody else over here. There's a lot of people here, but I think people are just walking up. I don't know if anybody saw anything. Gio, have you talked to any witnesses? No?
Major explosion, folks. Come on in.
The public is showing up just to take a look as word spreads about this. So, again, not a lot of information that we're operating off of here, but again, an explosion, some type of explosion. We do not know yet what caused it. In front of a medical office that we believe is a reproductive services office, directly across the street, and I am told not affiliated directly with the hospital. It's a private medical building, and it's across the street, directly across the street from Desert Regional. It is, let's see. I'm getting, people are texting me information here. So, oh no. Okay, well, read that. So I don't know of any injuries, but we're getting word that there may be some injuries. So I don't know yet. Again, we're just directly across the street from Desert Regional. So the good news is, if anybody was hurt, I mean, here's the entrance to that's the main entrance to the hospital where we're standing right here. That's the emergency room. Okay. That's the emergency room, and the explosion was right there at that office building. So we're directly across the street. Again, Indian Canyon Drive and Tachiva Drive in Palm Springs. I think this happened right around 11 o'clock. That's when we started getting word of it. A tremendous police response here and fire department response. And I'm told there's FBI has shown up on scene, and there may be some search and rescue, urban search and rescue may be here as well. So we are, again, we're operating on a very small amount of information.
All right, so we're going to take you to the scene right now. This is a current live look in Palm Springs, and we're talking about a facility called American Reproductive Centers on North Indian Canyon Drive. Major explosion, heavy police presence here. So we are going to monitor the situation for sure. This looks like domestic terrorism to me. Deliberate for sure.
Yeah, I gotta switch to one.
Scary situation. Come on in the chat, folks. Live in Palm Springs, California.
This is why what? Yeah, the wagon's super important. Okay, so glad to meet you, sir. That's good. We'll hit in about 10.
So what they're saying that this thing happened, this incident happened just before 11 a.m. Pacific time. So that would be about 2 o'clock Eastern time. Welcome aboard, folks. We are monitoring a major situation. Seems like this is domestic terrorism.
Mention your live that the hospital is open to close the visitors.
It's open. No visitors. Don't come in the area. Okay. Indian Canyon and Tachiva.
Shiva. This is going to cost the city a lot of money.
I know.
Happened a little bit before 11 a.m.
Should I read the statement from the hospital? I'll do that. I don't know if they plan on doing that or not.
You know what? If they read the statement, then they'll read it. But if they don't, then we have some.
There was alarms going off. It seems like it rocked numerous buildings around there, got glass that shattered all over the place. Now, I was just looking on Flight Radar 24. There was a police chopper up in the sky, but it since has left. But I'm assuming at this point, media outlets, major media outlets will probably come to the scene and see what's up and what's going on. Do we have a suspect out on the loose here? Do we have an Eric Rudolph type of situation? You know that name, Eric Rudolph. Do we have a similar situation going on here? And they reported that the FBI is now on the scene. Everything is in question, according to Lieutenant William Hutchinson of the police department there, whether this is an act of terrorism or not. There's an investigation right now, a terrorism investigation going on right now at this location as fire officials in Palm Springs are at the scene. It sends shockwaves throughout the city. A reproductive center, folks. A reproductive center. American Reproductive Centers. Now I'm going to get a little bit of history about this place, find out how long it's been there, when it opened. But in the meantime, we'll stick it here since there's a camera on the scene. We are live in real time. Welcome aboard. Major explosion. You know, and this is a pretty, it's pretty much in the heart of Palm Springs. A lot of businesses, corporate centers around, medical centers around, surgical centers, skin care, cancer specialists, gynecology place. It's all the medical field here. So, I mean, if this is deliberate, someone's caught on camera, unless somebody did some self-harm to themselves. But we don't know, people or person. Major investigation underway. We'll refer it to a IVF clinic. IVF clinic. So there is a medical chopper in the air, unclear about injuries or fatalities. We'll get more. Multiple witnesses reported hearing a loud boom, and dramatic videos shared on social media show an explosion shattering windows of a nearby liquor store. Authorities have still not said whether this was accidental or intentional, and they are saying there appears to be at least one fatality. This is intentional. Let's be real. It has to be intentional. They're just what the target here is, the situation appears.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I hear you.
This was deliberate. But we'll see. We'll see what's going on. Live at the scene in Palm Springs, California. Come on in. Come on in. Firefighters are responding to a powerful explosion at a building in Palm Springs. And investigators are not ruling out terrorism. To me, it appears to be terrorism.
I hear you. Mic check, 1, 2, 3.
I doubt this was an accident.
Hello? Can you hear
no
me?
way this could be an accident. Just no way.
No, she's on the phone with someone right now. She hears you. She's on IFB. She hears you. Technology.
We'll get more as we go along. Come on in. This appears bad. It really, really bad.
What is it?
Major explosion.
Okay.
There's like.
Look at all that. Absolutely crazy. All right, so we'll stay here for a while, see what's up, see what's going on. All right, they put the cameras out a little bit. And here we go. Graphic images from the scene show how show charred remains, human remains. Look at the people coming out in their hospital scrubs. The mayor at the time said there were still structures on fire, though I do think right now at this point the fires are out.
Go in there and say anything.
It appears.
They are.
I've been looking. I haven't seen any
fatality and 2
smoke in the
injuries.
sky there, so it appears
KMIR.
they're describing it as a car explosion.
Okay.
That's according to KMIR.
Lest there was a problem with the car, but in front of a clinic.
But I'm not.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards terrorism with the
Okay.
limited
You guys
information
find
that
it?
we have thus far.
No, yeah, KMIR
we
said
are.
city.
You know, we've been covering the P. Diddy case. Somebody just said in the chat, Kid Cudi. Car
I
explosion.
don't see a medical record.
Was
like
it
this.
Diddy?
I mean, would.
This looks like it was a car bomb that happened here. We are live in Palm Springs. Make sure you like the video, share it out, subscribe to the channel as we see what this is all about.
Desert Regional, or do you want me to?
In a press conference, someone speaking on this matter. Expect a press conference, some sort of information, new information. They are investigating. Okay, so maybe we'll get a news report here.
Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3.
All right, we're gonna get some info from the local media.
Yeah, I want the names.
What in the heck is she holding up? Is that a fish?
I'm not going to zoom in on it.
Wait, Shay and Athena are in the same place as us. What are they doing?
Maybe they moved up.
5 minutes out.
5 minutes.
Terra probe launched.
Scoop out as far as you can.
All right, terrorism investigation underway, folks.
Are you guys able to say that?
Peter's saying it.
Peter's saying that. Okay. He's saying the clinic just confirmed.
Terrorism investigation underway.
Am I able to say that we talked to people who saw body parts on the street? Okay.
That's not. She's asking if she could talk about body parts. Viewer discretion is advised, folks.
Start right here, and then gesture, and I can gesture, okay?
Gosh, my hair is so crazy right now.
Viewer discretion is advised, folks. I think we have an act of terrorism here. Terrorism investigation underway.
I wish I had a hair.
American Reproductive Centers. It was so loud it shook me, said a witness who was out there jogging at the scene. Alarms went off all over the place. People in an apartment 200 yards away could feel the explosion. A nearby shop owner says the blast hit, shattering their windows of their store. Big, big, big explosion.
Okay. Just, you know what?
Setting no service.
Sparking terrorism probe. The blast
Copy.
likely came from a car
We're hearing
parked
1 dead,
outside
2
the
injured
American
hospital.
Reproductive Centers.
And can we confirm that it was a car that exploded?
All the articles are saying it's a car that exploded. Look. Oh my goodness. Clearly terrorism. to me. All right, so we're getting some of the air footage of what happened here. Oh, my goodness. Dude, this thing got rocked. American Reproductive Centers. Holy smokes. Both sides of the building blasted out. Yeah, there's no confirmation from law enforcement that it was a car explosion. However, media outlets are putting out car explosion. Yikes. And then also terrorism probe. It very well could be an accident. This doesn't appear to be an accident to me. I mean, right on the surface here, this seems like this might be Eric Rudolph type of situation. Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, Eric Rudolph type of scenario here, and someone plotted. And we got FBI and federal authorities, ATF, are at the scene. So they bring the feds out on the weekend. There's a big, big problem. And here's the thing. Is there someone on the loose right now that did this? Did the person that did this or people get away? And if they got away, are there other targets? So we got to stay vigilant here. People are saying the suspect is dead. Did the suspect have other people working with them? Is this an isolated incident from one individual, or do we have a group of people? Remains to be seen. They are saying the suspect's dead. Reports are coming out. Suspect dead. We'll see. We'll try to get more information. You got fire trucks out there, personnel. Major, major incident. In literally downtown Palm Springs. Roads are all blocked off. Command center. This is big. JLR investigates. Okay, so apparently these are the firefighters that probably put out the fire. Multiple fires, they said, were in the area at the time. It rocked. It literally blew out. And then a lot of the buildings of nearby businesses blew out. The windows. So I don't know. I don't know what can cause an explosion like that. Fertilizer. What do we have on that? All right, let me switch up here. It looks like this feed went away. Come on in. JLR.
Oh, you have a tattoo?
There goes the task force.
There goes the task force, which can't layer that. Otherwise, you better go.
Why don't you make that the opening of your...
All right, we are back. Look at that. That's the vehicle by a dumpster in the middle of the parking lot. Oh, my goodness. Literally, the car is gone. Yo, that is crazy. And you know when I say that is crazy, this is crazy. Look, it literally went right through this reproductive center. American Reproductive Center. It went right out the front door. Yo, this is crazy. We're getting the first shots of what happened here, folks. I would say there's a very, very highly likely that this is terrorism. It's being investigated as terrorism. Looks like we have a terroristic act here. Yo, look. Whoa. This is insane. Major damage done. This place is destroyed. This place is gone. They're going to have to tear this whole thing down. You can't rebuild this like this. Got to get rid of everything. Look. Whoa. So, do we have any explosive experts in the chat? What type of explosive, if it was explosives, which clearly it looks like explosives, could have done this? What do we got? C4? Fertilizer? What do we got? What type of material would do this? Explosion. Wow. All right, so people are coming back into the chat. It kind of skipped here. There's other feeds, so I'll put something else on in a second. ABC 10 is at the scene too, so stand by. We'll put this up here. It appears the suspect is dead. So we're going to get more information. I do believe that we'll have a press conference out of this. It happened a little bit before 11 a.m. downtown Palm Springs. I'm putting up another.
Are we on?
Yes.
Hey everybody,
All right, back again. The aftermath here. We are live. This is a live look. Look, and you see, it affected multiple other businesses. Oh my goodness. Dude, literally debris went onto the roof of another facility. That's the second floor. Went across the road here. What's that say? Desert Regional Medical Center. So now we have multiple choppers in front, out in the sky above this location. We are live. Come on in, folks. Anyone in the chat from Palm Springs? Tips at JLR Investigates. Tips at JLR Investigates. Tell us what's up. Tell us your story. Tell us what happened here. No doubt we're going to get a press conference on this one. Someone's going to have to speak. And is the public at danger? All right, so I'm going to get some updates here. Daily Mail has an article, explosion in Palm Springs sends shockwaves through the city as images show reproductive center destroyed. Goes on to say firefighters are responding to a powerful explosion at a building in Palm Springs that rocked the area late Saturday morning, around 11 a.m. And investigators are not ruling out terrorism. The blast occurred shortly before 11 at the American Reproductive Centers on North Indian Canyon Drive and was felt up to 2 miles away. Oh my God, we might have a Timothy McVeigh type situation. Everything is in question, whether this is an act of terrorism. Multiple witnesses reported hearing a loud boom, and dramatic videos shared on social media show the explosion shattered windows of a nearby liquor store. Authorities have not confirmed whether the explosion was accidental or intentional. The lieutenant who's on the scenes told the media that there is at least one fatality People are saying that that's the suspect in the vehicle. Also, police didn't say anything about a vehicle yet. This is what the media is putting out. Graphic images from the scene seem to show a charred human remains. There was images of that. I don't think we're going to show that. If they show that here, viewer discretion is advised because we are live. The mayor, Ron DeHart, said at the time of this report there was other structures still on fire, but it doesn't appear like anything's on fire now. NBC Palm Springs has described the incident as a car explosion, though officials have yet to confirm the cause or release additional information. Goes on to say, Palm Springs police and fire are urging residents to avoid the area so emergency crews can manage the scene. Emergency vehicles were still arriving as of noon. The explosion occurred near but not on the grounds of the Palm Springs main hospital, Desert Regional Medical Center, according to a spokesperson. All right, we're going to switch feeds here because the feed went away. Big time explosion. Wild scene. We got another feed coming up. Stand by. We got another one coming up. So they did an aerial footage. So now we have the aerial footage. We'll take you back on ground on the scene with the Palm Springs Fire Department at the scene. We are live. Authorities are investigating whether terrorism played a role in a large explosion that destroyed a fertility clinic and IV lab in Palm Springs. The explosion may have left one person dead. They have not confirmed, though, however, about the fatality. The blast likely came from a car parked outside American Reproductive Centers, which we saw the aerial footage, clearly destroyed. You're going to have to take and graze that whole thing to the ground. Everything is in question, whether this is an act of terrorism. We're still trying to determine the cause. The police and fire are down there right now. First, we heard it might be a helicopter crash or a gas leak, but that has been ruled out. We should know pretty quickly what it is. There was quite a bit of damage to surrounding buildings as well. One witness was inside his nearby business when the blast rocked the building. It definitely felt like an explosion. It was so loud, it felt like it shook my entire core, Claudia Chavez said, who has an upholstery shop nearby. I was inside my business waiting for a client. I was sitting in my chair, and it felt suddenly like a bomb went off. Inside, I just saw pieces of debris fall from the ceiling, walked outside, and saw my front window had totally shattered. I went to Palm Canyon Drive and went behind and off of Indian Canyon, and you could see more people and a large amount of smoke. Half of one building seems to be blown away. That's American Reproductive. DeHart, the mayor of the city, said he didn't exactly know what services were provided at the clinic, but said it had to do with fertility. The clinic is near, but not affiliated with Desert Regional Hospital. Debris and broken glass could be strewn all over the street in front of the center while firefighters work outside, according to photos and videos from the scene. Unconfirmed reports on social media claim body parts were found at the scene. There was body parts. Smoke was visible over the town, and residents told the Desert Sun they smelled a strange odor following the explosion. See, they originally thought it was a helicopter or some sort of gas explosion. They are investigating what you're seeing here as an act of terrorism.
All of our stuff's being routed out to ultrasound.
So I expect we get a press conference very, very shortly. But this is a current live at the scene.
Okay. So you're locked up in the car. I probably am out of mine too then. Well, wait, where did you park in relation to me? You know where I was, right? You walked right by.
Kind of reminds me of an Eric Rudolph situation, to be honest.
They said they lived half a mile away and they felt it from their house and walked right over. But they said it was so loud from half a mile away and they thought a car walked into their house.
So that's the information thus far. We'll try to gather more and see exactly what happened here. Welcome aboard JLR Investigates. If anyone wants to know who Eric Rudolph is, he's currently serving a life prison in federal prison for abortion clinic bombing in Birmingham, Alabama, along with the bombing at Centennial Park in Atlanta. He was the one that went on the run for 5 years and ran in the hills of North Carolina under the grid, or people were helping him, and then he eventually got caught. Well, it's possible that whoever did this had that same type of philosophy here. We'll see. We'll learn more. We'll try to understand more. Yeah, Murphy, North Carolina. They say with the Rudolph case that a lot of locals were actually sympathetic or were helping him. An officer observed him at the time of his arrest. I think he was like looking through garbage, looking for food in a back area. This does have a little bit of Eric Rudolph type similarities. Copycat, maybe a little mix of Timothy McVeigh, Terry Nichols, Unabomber. There's, that type of. But it's too early to tell. But they are treating this as an act of terrorism, it appears. So it's the opposite of an abortion clinic. You can see authorities are there. Authorities are at the scene. FBI, ATF are there. Palm Springs officials. This is like in the heart of Palm Springs, like the hospital commercial district of this area. So I'm not surprised based off the evilness that's out there. In the meantime, we have this scene. I'm going to share some clips as we get more information. Hear what witnesses have to say about this. Assuming that the person that died is the suspect, and assuming that it was a car bombing, it looks like there was a vehicle in the center of that parking lot, right in the middle there. It looked like there was like a dumpster or something, one of those fenced-in areas where they put a dumpster. Looks like there was a vehicle, or what's left of a vehicle. We don't know if it was a car, a truck, U-Haul. We don't know what type of vehicle it was. Imagine if it was a U-Haul, SUV. Does anyone know what type of vehicle it would? I'm reading the comments. Keep your comments coming. Palm Springs, in the east, it gets hot out there. What's the weather out there in Palm Springs right now? Let me see. Just so we know what we're dealing with. 79 degrees, not too bad. It's actually warmer here in Florida. But it is going to go up to 100 degrees in 2 days from now. Maybe that person chose this day because I'm telling you, in the next few days in Palm Springs, back up into the 100s. It gets hot there. It gets hot there. 80 degrees. Here it's 92. Hot outside today. But we do have I got a clip I'll eventually share. You can throw that up whenever, Magnolia, with the witness that spoke. We'll get that together, and we are at a live scene right now, and we'll play different clips and see what's up and see what people have to say. Try to get the best available information in real time. A lot of it's fluid, though. Some things could be said that's not correct, and we have to end up, correcting when these situations are unfolding in real time. Sometimes there's misinformation out there, not the correct information. It will all iron itself out over time.
Actually, we had just come down from our break, and we were, assessing our patients, making sure they're okay. When we heard this loud noise, I shook all of our building. Our patients were scared. We actually thought something had hit our building, and then I heard some shattering, and I came outside to check. It was our building next to us. All of the windows shattered. Thankfully, we were okay. Our patients were okay, and then I just seen a lot of people running from this side of the street.
And you were there as well. What did you see?
Same thing. Me and her were in the same room.
Did you feel the blast?
It felt like a really, really bad earthquake.
It shook all of our building.
We thought somebody hit our building with a car at first.
And you guys, is your clinic still open?
It was for a while, but we actually had to close right now because due to all this street being closed, we're unable to bring all of our other patients in, which is unfortunate because they do need their treatment. We were able to reach some clinics, and I think some of them were going to take some of our patients, but we weren't able to treat anymore. We're going to just finish what we're doing right now and send everybody else home.
What did the patients that you were treating in the moment, what was it like inside the clinic for you guys? Did the patients hear everything happen too?
Yes, they did. They were scared. They were just started panicking, asking questions, and we weren't able to answer anything. We just said, we're okay. Everything is fine. We can keep running you. But they were concerned.
Could you smell the smoke?
It took a few minutes. Honestly, we had all these things coming through our head. We thought maybe the helicopter had crashed because then we saw the smoke coming, and then we're like, no, maybe that wasn't it. We just didn't know what it was.
And when you actually came out here onto scene, what was it like seeing the debris, seeing everything for the first time?
I honestly didn't know what it was. Could have been a really bad car crash. It could have been, I genuinely didn't know. My first thought was, are we going to have to take our patients off because of the fire and evacuate everyone?
And then what was it like for you, like coming on scene and seeing everything?
It was scary. I thought because I saw that the fire was from this side, and there's a liquor store there. So I know there's a lot of people that go there from the hospital. Even us, we walked over there to just get a soda or anything. And I was like, I hope nobody was there when this happened because I didn't even know where it was coming from.
Did you see a lot of fire engines, all of the police cars and stuff coming in and hear it?
Yes, and you know what? I was really impressed. They got here pretty fast. Like, I think we came out, checked, and then we went back in, and then you can hear them. They were here in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw them coming from this side, and then we have windows all in our clinic over here, and we saw them coming from this side as well.
Was your clinic damaged?
No, thankfully it wasn't.
Okay. So, did you have any other questions?
Did you see a car inside there? What did you walk all the way down there?
No.
We weren't able to. No, we weren't able to. We couldn't leave our patients. We just came out to see if we can see anything for their
Assess the
safety.
situation.
Yeah. And we had to go back in there and reassure them that everything was going to be okay and that, we can still finish their treatment.
Have you ever seen something like this happen in Palm Springs?
No, never. I mean, especially so close to us in a place where there's all these clinics, where there are all these people. No, never.
Have you been hearing anything from people on the street about what may have happened at all?
Yes, they keep saying there was a bomb, that there was a car that exploded. We did hear, unfortunately, that there was a person that passed away. We're not sure. There were some people saying that they saw a body. So it's unfortunate because I think they're saying it's a fertility clinic. And that's unfortunate. That's somebody's last chance, Like, it gets me the chills to talk about it. Like, that's very heartbreaking.
Have you heard anything else? Same things?
Same things.
Anything else that we need to ask? That's it. Gosh, well, thank you guys so much for talking about.
All right, got it from a witness. Got a witness, so we're.
And that's not what we're about in Palm Springs. Yeah.
There's an explosion targeting a reproductive health clinic. What does that make you think?
Hate never solves any issues. Never. Hate is terrible.
And you're coming out. I know you said you haven't been out in a few hours, but now you're looking at everything. You're seeing the glass. What is this making you think? I feel like probably disbelief. How are you feeling?
I am sad for the loss of life, but I'm sad for the community as a whole and what this type of act represents. It's not right. And we're hopefully everybody is about doing what's right.
What's your name, sir?
David Martz,
Martz, M-A-R-T-S?
TZ.
All right. Thank you, David.
Thank
Stay.
En route, if not already there. They say contact local authorities, but they are telling people, as are those in the area, to stay away from this. Again, from the clinic itself, on that Facebook post, they to share that no members of the ARC team were harmed, and our lab, including all eggs, embryos, and reproductive materials, remains fully secure and undamaged. Incredible that happened there, that this was not touched by this explosion. They continue, our mission has always been to help build families. And in times like these, we are reminded of just how fragile and precious life is. In the face of this tragedy, we remain committed to creating hope because we believe that healing begins with community, compassion, and care. Out of every tragedy, there is an opportunity to come together with deeper purpose. While today's events have shaken us all, they also shine a light on the strength of our community, the bravery of our first responders, and the resilience of the families we serve. So that is, you're seeing more of this statement from Dr. Mawar Abdallah, who runs the reproductive clinic, the American Reproductive Center's clinic here in Palm Springs. But again, if you're just now tuning in, if you're just joining us, this is a live look from Air 7 in Palm Springs. This is a fertility clinic that was hit by, it looks like a car bomb today, a major explosion in this parking lot. And if you look in the center of your screen, that's the remains of the car, we believe. And you can see kind of like the drag marks going across the parking lot to where that wound up in the middle of the parking lot. It looks like maybe a dumpster structure, but the car is there. And it looks like it slid across the parking lot, blew the front of the building out onto the street, and then blew out windows across the street at Desert Regional Medical Center, at the other buildings in that parking lot, 1, 2, 3, all suffering some major damage here. And on the right side of your screen, this is video sent in from eyewitnesses. This is the direct aftermath. The building is still on fire at this point. Firefighters back in the parking lot working to either put out the car or the building itself. These are more buildings that were damaged very close to this explosion. And pieces of the vehicle or the building were sent up and over those other adjacent buildings and into this parking lot. And again, windows blown out. We saw water rushing from the window of another unit in an adjacent building to this parking lot. But a major explosion rocking Palm Springs this morning. This happened a little after 11 o'clock. And firefighters, FBI, more investigators are responding. You can see on the live look from Air 7, you can see some walking down Indian Canyon Drive right now. That is where this explosion took place. And the roof of this building just crumpling over this explosion. The two ends, the two wings of the building look like they are largely intact. You would think that is where the laboratory would be, since that is what survived this explosion. But look at the roof. The tiles have been shaken on the other building. Windows have been blown out. Crumpled in the middle there is what's left of, we believe, the car where these explosives were housed. It's just, it's hard to make out what kind of car this was. It just looks like a normal kind of sedan, but we cannot tell. There's nothing left but the frame. I don't know, Mike is more of a car expert, our director, if he can recognize anything resembling any kind of make or model from that. It's pretty tough at this point to make anything out, but you can see exactly where the car was parked, the streaks on the ground, dragging that car across. And it looks like it was parked just directly outside the door. The entire wall of that building is gone. The roof has collapsed, and this building is a mess. Again, somehow the laboratory inside this fertility clinic was undamaged. All of the reproductive materials, the embryos, the eggs have survived this explosion, and one person has been killed in this. 5 others have been injured. We are told that anyone who works at this facility, which it looks like was the target of this explosion, is okay. We have seen a sheet covering that one body, which we assume is the one body, and we're hearing from law enforcement that is the suspect in this case.
There you go.
Lying on the
It
ground,
is the suspect.
in that sheet.
Suspect under the sheet.
So oftentimes in mass casualty events, they don't often count the suspect among those killed. those can be counted separately. But in this, we believe the one fatality was the suspect themselves. We are awaiting word from law enforcement on scene whether this was someone who lost their life in the explosion or whether they were killed in some kind of altercation with police.
They got bomb sniffing
So
dogs
just on
out
the
there.
adjacent building there,
They're looking
El
for more
Mirador Medical
bombs.
Plaza. That is, I believe, separate from the hospital itself, or is that
They're
part
looking
of the
for more
hospital? Let's see.
bombs. Okay, so they got the mobile
So the medical
police command
plaza
center there.
is there part of Desert Regional's, it's their outpatient surgery center. Okay, so that is part of officially Desert Regional Medical Center. That El Mirador Medical Plaza is part of that facility. This is the large gathering of law enforcement here. I don't know what jurisdiction those white trucks are for, but we did know that FBI is on scene. Palm Springs Police has responded. Palm Springs Fire is on scene as well. And okay, we have her right now. Okay, let's go right now to Elena Gomez, our reporter who is now on scene. She is joining us on the phone. Elena, where are you and what can you see?
Yeah, so I am at the end of Via Lola and North Indian Canyon Drive right now. So this is at the very end of the perimeter. So if you're familiar with Palm Springs, you get off on the 10. That is sort of the road that is blocked off at the road of Stevens to Via Lola. So I'm at the very end of where it's blocked off. But where the explosion happened is just pretty close to me, probably like a block or so away, but obviously it's blocked off. So I calculated just how far it's about less than half a mile is blocked. So a big part of this main thoroughfare here is blocked off at the moment. There's police, fire, there's a bus even stopped right here. And just sort of the surrounding area from where I am, there's a lot of residential homes that are off of the sort of the main area here. And so everyone's kind of being diverted to kind of go around this main road here off of North Indian Canyon at the moment.
All right, Elena, stand by. We will continue to check in with you momentarily. I just want to take us back to Air 7 because I believe we found the location of where that body is. This is on the back. This is on the back road from where this explosion took place. So this is a good ways away from the explosion itself. There is the body covered with a sheet in the middle of the road.
How'd the body get in the middle of the road?
This is a good distance. So again, we are waiting word from law enforcement.
What in the
that
world?
roadway is blocked as well. That might be
That's
Palm
crazy.
Canyon Drive. If I'm just looking for, no, this is, let's see. It is Via Lola. Is that Via Lola? On the other side of the roadway. So that body is a good distance away from the explosion itself. Again, we don't know.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Directly from
Unless it
the
flew
result of
away.
this explosion,
Blown that
or
far?
whether this was an encounter with law enforcement trying to get away. But this was a massive, massive explosion. And if we can get back to Elena right now, there are ways, Elena, there are ways around for those who are going to downtown Palm Springs. This is the main drag, basically. Palm Canyon Drive and then Indian Canyon Drive is the northbound road when you're in downtown Palm Springs. That is closed a little bit outside of downtown. But what are you seeing right now? The response, are there people around watching? Can you see any smoke in the area? What's the scene, the tone of the scene there?
Yeah, no smoke, and honestly, not a lot of people exactly here kind of walking around. I mean, there are some people kind of walking around, but not a lot of people just stopping to look at this area. I don't see any smoke. I will say in Palm Springs right now, even driving in, it was incredibly windy right now, and it is still fairly windy in this area as well. So I'm not seeing any smoke at the moment. I just see a lot of staging set up. So I'm seeing at least 2 fire trucks here, multiple sheriffs. I mean, this is just sprawled out, like I said, for about less than half a mile or so, just down that main thoroughfare here. Police stations, the whole area just kind of blocked off with yellow tape at the moment. I try to talk to some other officers to see where sort of a great staging area would be for media so we can start to get some updates, and they're still working on that. So obviously the scene is still flowing at the moment, but yes, multiple officers here, 2 fire trucks that I can see from where I'm at. But yeah, a whole area here really stretched and blocked off for the time being.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that report. Please check in if you learn anything else. I'd love to hear from people who are in the area who heard this. We have reports that this was
Yeah.
heard all the way around Palm Springs, and given the force of this explosion, we imagine that most of the city was able to feel this, knew something had happened. I know a lot of people said they felt the ground shaking, thought this might have been an earthquake. But again, that was Palm Canyon Drive. Now on the left of your screen, Indian Canyon Drive is where this building is, but the body is back on the back side of Palm Canyon Drive. There is a ground level look at it. This is not close to where this explosion took place. On the left side is Indian Canyon Drive. This is the front of the building, but it's the opposite side of the building from where this car bomb went off. It ripped through the entire building, blew out the doors on this side of the building. And when Air 7 circles back around, I want to take a look again at the explosion side, the parking lot side of this building. But there is the car. We believe that the explosives were housed in. This car bomb going off a little after 11 o'clock this morning, and it just completely ripped the front of this building, collapsed the roof. We don't know if anyone was inside at the time, but what an experience that would have been for those who are going through this. Again, the lab that stores all the embryos and the eggs and the reproductive materials, we are told, survived, made it through this explosion somehow, were not damaged. And so all of those prospective parents out there who are hoping they would be able to use this material to grow a family, to start a family, that is still intact and made it through this explosion. And so that is a great glimmer of good news out of this terror that ripped through Palm Springs today. As Air 7 continues to cycle around, you can see ARC, American Reproductive Centers, on Indian Canyon Drive. This is the target. At the bottom of our screen, we can just see that, make out the sidewalk. That is Palm Canyon Drive. That's the main drag when you leave the freeway to get to downtown Palm Springs. That leads you into downtown. That is where the body of the believed suspect in this explosion is lying beneath a sheet. That we believe is the only person who was killed. 5 others, we are told, were injured in this. The FBI is now investigating, as are multiple other law enforcement agencies from this area and around the state. The governor is aware of what has happened, and it says the Office of Emergency Management is now taking part in this investigation. This is a crime scene that will likely be closed well into the night, if not well into tomorrow as well. There is a lot to look at here. There is a death in this case. There are multiple injuries, and we have what looks like a possible terrorist attack. Motives unknown at this point, but it does look like an intentional act by this believed suspect, who is, we believe, we are told, is beneath that sheet there, lying in the middle of Palm Canyon Drive. Again, this was a very powerful explosion. All of the adjacent buildings around here have suffered damage. Those not connected with this facility, I think we're looking at one right now, that looks like the windows were blown out. There's damage and debris all around this building, even on sides that weren't exposed to this blast. The concussive force so strong that it took out windows, and it took out, we know at least there's one water pipe burst in a unit in an adjacent building in this parking lot. The roof is damaged. All of those HVAC units will likely need to be fixed. All these windows will need to be replaced, and merchandise inside of these, looks like this is a store here, will need to be replaced. And boy, this was a large and scary explosion here at this fertility clinic. Fortunately, no one involved in this clinic was killed. And we see all these buildings here in the adjacent buildings in the parking lot suffered damage. This is a little further away. I'm not sure if we can look and see. It looks like they suffered damage as well. It looks like a window is there on the ground.
Went
on the
off
left.
all over the
we
place.
see debris. All these windows look like they are blown out. And so again, this is now 2 or 3 buildings away from this explosion, and they suffered damage as well. Most incredible to me is the fact, when we look across the street the other way, that the hospital itself suffered damage. Wow. Look, this is the backside, about 2 blocks away. They suffered damage, and all of these windows blew out. This, again, this is a building, this is a structure that does not face this explosion, and somehow the concussive force was able to blow out the windows at this hotel onto the pool area. And so they suffered. When we zoom back out here, look at where this is in connection to where this building is. So that's Palm Canyon Drive. at the top of your screen as we just continue to look for more damage around here. These are buildings that are not close to the explosion and yet suffered all this damage on exposures that don't face the explosion itself. So here's Palm Canyon Drive. Look at the building that we just looked at with the pool. Those rear buildings were blown out, and the explosion was back up the road and across this parking lot way to the right, the opposite side of where those windows were blown out. It's now at the bottom of your screen. So just the reach of this explosion and where this damage hit is just staggering to see directionally where it traveled. It's incredible that this one explosion from a car in a parking lot on one block could affect the opposite side of large structures, hotel windows, blocks away. And again, on the right side, this is video taken by witnesses on scene shortly after it. There's still black smoke rising into the air. The building was on fire.
So there was fire.
A firefighter there extending hose to put out some fire, either the car that was still burning in the parking lot or the building itself, which again looks somehow it's red tagged at this point. It looks like a total loss, but somehow the lab inside of that building survived. We know that medical facilities have been targets before. Abortion clinics have been targets for decades with attacks and bombs and assaults and murders. And one has to wonder whether the person who pulled this off believed this to be an abortion clinic or a facility connected to abortions, and whether that might have been a motivation in this attack. But as we know it, this is a fertility clinic working on things like IVF, embryo, egg extraction, working on growing families. And so whatever it is, it's a disturbing attack, and it's a scary attack to happen in our area here. This explosion ripping through Palm Springs a little after 11 a.m. this morning. I want to welcome in Sophie Flay, who's now joining us for more on this coverage.
Yes, and again, as you mentioned earlier, Jory, we know that from this reproductive center, all eggs, embryos, and reproductive medical and materials remain fully secure and undamaged. That is from a statement that we got from that reproductive center, the American Reproductive Center here. And so we know, thankfully that those within that center, we know that those are okay. Again, if you are looking at your screen right now, we are taking you, this is a live look from Air 7 over that reproductive center. And we know from people that have called in that this was heard from far away, not just next door. So many people heard this explosion, and so many buildings in the surrounding area were impacted by this explosion. As Jory has been mentioning, we've seen windows blown out, we've seen doors blown out, we've seen at this building here, you can see that there is water pouring out of whatever building this is, whether it's housing or it's an office space. We know that this has impacted so many of the structures around the explosion. Again, here is a closer look of really how badly impacted this building was from this car explosion. You can see some furniture kind of thrown to the side there from where this attack happened, and even into the street. I mean, debris falling from this building straight into the street here. You can see parts of the building. You can see bricks. I mean, the roof just fully kind of blown out here on this street, right outside of the reproductive center. Hoses, it looks like, so much destroyed. Luckily, we know again that the eggs, the embryos, the reproductive materials that is housed by the center, those are okay. But you can see, I think that car there that was involved in that explosion, you can see completely just decimated right next door to where this explosion happened.
Yeah. We, from one of the witnesses who are on scene, from Alan, who I believe sent us some video, said he was on scene. He lives in Palm Springs during weekends, and he's in Hermosa Beach during the week. Said that this was the loudest. This noise was the loudest I ever heard outside a crash of an A7 jet hitting the University of Arizona in Tucson that I witnessed, and just. That tracks now with what we're seeing as the aftermath, Sophie. I mean, the parking lot is where this car is, and most of the damage is on the front side, the far side of the building, and the hospital across the street. All of the adjacent buildings in this parking lot suffered damage. Buildings in the surrounding blocks suffered damage. This was a major explosion, and I'm looking forward to hearing from law enforcement to see what could have made this explosion so powerful. What kind of explosives were used?
C4.
Who do we have?
Fertilizer.
We have Alan. Okay, great. We have Alan who shot some video for us, joining us on the phone. Alan, thanks for taking this video for us and getting it to us. And if you could just kind of walk us through what your morning was like going through this.
It was a unique sound. It's like a sonic boom, and that was about 10:55, almost 11 a.m. And I thought it was an earthquake because things rattled and knocked off the shelves. And I'm a quarter mile from the bomb site of the explosion, and I never heard anything that unique, except early on in my journalism career. I was a reporter once. I heard a jet crash, an A7 blow up in a street in Tucson near the University of Arizona, and it was the most unique sound. And I thought for sure a helicopter had crashed, or again, a sonic boom. Maybe it was a Musk rocket that took off. And I never identified it. Neighbors were out, horns were honking from alarms. And I was, like I said, a quarter mile away. I got on my bike, rode up there, and took a look, and fire were just responding the same time I was. And it was just so unbelievable because it was so little smoke. And the smoke that went straight up, and it wasn't a lot, but things were blowing out about at least a block around the site. And the big surprise to me was the unique sound of that explosion. I'll never forget it this far away.
If you could, I know we always hear fireworks this time of year as we lead up to July 4th, and then occasionally we'll hear one that sounds a little different. Was it deeper? Was it the fact that you might have felt it? If you could try and put into words, what was so different about this sound that you hadn't heard before?
Oh, exactly. It was a shock wave. It was like a wave of energy that hit the glass first out to the front of my house. It faced the Desert Medical Center, but clearly blocks away. And I saw the glass, it was rattling, and then the boom, and it knocked the glasses on shelves around. It knocked a few knickknacks that are in my kitchen, and I was stunned. And the dogs were stunned. They didn't even bark. They just looked at me like, is this safe? And that's what everybody felt. I went out to the driveway, and neighbors were starting to come out and was like, are we safe? Is that, because you couldn't see any smoke. You didn't know what was going on. It was just that blast. So I thought
there's
it was
that body.
A neat rocket ship. And then I guessed that it had to be near the hospital. And I just figured the gas, what they use in emergency care, something wasn't secure and probably blew up at the hospital. And when I got there, people were running my way against it. And I thought, this is really unique. And then it wasn't the hospital, it was across the street in a very small explosion space for such a huge noise and a big shock wave that was felt now, I believe, a mile, at least 2 miles away from it.
Yeah.
It was really unique to see only one building blowing out and blowing through. And I went behind it before the firemen came, and there was a guy and his wife back there, and he said he was an explosive guy. I know you were talking to one earlier, and he said that had to be a car bomb because it's blasted from this courtyard where he and I were looking, and it went out to the east, and we were in the west part of the building, the courtyard where the car was smoldering, and there were car parts all over the place. Bumpers and ripped siding. And he said that had to be a car bomb, and the way it fanned out. And then, of course, police came, firemen, and they were very nice, actually, and just said, step aside. You probably should get out of here. We don't know if it's a single explosion, which made sense. And so we scattered and got our pictures and looked around, and at least that half-mile radius, I never saw such destruction except maybe the North Ridge earthquake,
Yeah, Alan,
break that
you
much
mentioned
glass.
that you got there, pretty quickly before even some emergency responders. What
Right.
was it like? Was it busy? Was it not busy? What was it like when you first got there?
I was surprised that I wouldn't call it chaotic. It was just people were stunned, and there had to be 200 or 300 people that left their houses and hotels nearby and were just wandering around, looking nervous, maybe scared, I'm sure, and it was uncomfortable. And the surprise to me was the hospital, that there were no gurneys, no paramedics, nobody but fire and police were showing up right after us at that scene, and it wasn't really secure yet. That they got their hoses out immediately and started watering down. And I was expecting, sadly, human remains, body parts from something like this, but nothing. But I'm sure it had to be a car bomb because it looked like it was in the middle of a courtyard of a smoldering car, which I had a picture of the fire hose, just got there about the time I'm taking the picture. And it looked like everything had blasted to the east. But people were pretty surprised and stunned, hopeful, talkative. And the big surprise is I can't believe more people weren't hurt, because the parts of the car and glass were a good 3, 4, 5 blocks around that explosion area.
Wow.
And it was in the street and parking areas, and people's car shattered and broken.
Yeah.
It's just so odd.
Yeah, and it looks like that car was sent all the way across that courtyard from the building front to the middle. Alan, I want to thank you. Thanks for putting your reporter hat on for us again, and doing what you do best. We really appreciate it. Thank you for watching and for letting us know what you see. I'd love to talk to you more. I know that Air 7 has about just a few minutes left of fuel for us to be able to continue this coverage. So for this stream right now, we do need to wrap up our coverage. We have about a minute and a half left, but just recapping the day's events. Around 11 o'clock today, it looks like a car bomb went off outside a fertility clinic in Palm Springs. It blew the entire building. The front of it is off. The backside blew out onto the roadway, Indian Canyon Drive. Desert Regional Medical Center is across the street. That suffered damage. All of the buildings in the adjacent parking lot, those suffered damage. Resorts in the surrounding blocks, those also suffered damage as well. And the cleanup is not going to begin until the investigation continues.
And we know at least 5 people have been injured in this explosion. A suspect is believed to be dead, according to ABC News. And we will continue to bring you updates as our reporters arrive on scene. They will be giving you firsthand accounts of what they are seeing after this huge explosion.
Elena Gomez, our reporter, is on scene. She is gathering interviews and reports right now. We also have other sources in the area who are continuing to see what is going on, but we will continue our coverage throughout the afternoon and the evening of what appears to be an attack on a fertility clinic in Palm Springs. Our next coverage, I believe, will be 3:30. We come on the air on Air 7 at 3:30 this afternoon for Eyewitness News. And in the meantime, you can continue to cover our streaming channel.
All right, so we got the ABC 7 perspective, Sky's perspective, so we got to see the aerial footage of what happened here with this explosion that happened a little before 11 a.m. in Palm Springs. Come on in, folks. Come on in. It appears this is a terrorist attack for sure. From probably a deranged, delusional individual that looks like that's the one body that is pretty far away from the American Reproductive Center where this bombing happened. And we're live right here. This is a live shot. So ambulances and fire personnel were still there because it resulted in fire. But it seems like this guy, whoever did this, and assuming it's a guy, it could be a female, but I would say it's safe to assume whoever did this was male, got blown significant farther away, unless the person was trying to walk away or what. You saw the vehicle in the parking lot. We actually have a, Magnolia, if you could throw the statement up by American Reproductive Centers of Palm Spring. They put a statement out, and we'll throw that up here, and we'll read it together. All right, here we go. So they put out a statement just a little bit ago, And then the statements that they say, we choose hope. This morning, an unexpected and tragic incident occurred outside our Palm Springs facility when a vehicle exploded in the parking lot near our building. We are heartbroken to learn that this event claimed life and caused injuries. And our deepest condolences go out to the individuals and family affected. Now, I think that's kind of strange, considering that the person that died is literally the person that this thing blew up, tried to blow this place up. So they're actually sending condolences to the person. I thought that's a little strange. We are immensely grateful to share that no members of the ARC team were harmed, and our lab, including all eggs, embryos, and reproductive materials, remain fully secured and undamaged. Now, that's shocking considering what we saw on the building. It's pretty much leveled. We are heavily conducting a complete safety inspection and have confirmed that our operations and sensitive medical areas were not impacted by the blast. Our mission has always been to help families, and in times like these, we are reminded of just how fragile and precious life is. In the face of this tragedy, we remain committed to creating hope because we believe that healing begins with community, compassion, and care. Out of every tragedy, there's an opportunity to come together with deeper purpose. While today's events have shaken us all, they also shine a light on the strength of our community, the bravery of our first responders, and the resilience of the families we serve. At ARC, we believe in creating life, not just in the biological sense, but in the emotional and spiritual sense, too. We see this moment as a reminder to hold loved ones close, to show kindness whenever possible, and to continue our work with even more intention and heart. From adversity, we chose hope. ARC will be fully operational on Monday morning. Wow. And our team is here to answer any concerns you may have. We appreciate the incredible support from our patients and local community, as well as the swift action of the Palm Springs police, fire, and emergency responders who are at the scene there. This moment has shaken us, but it has not stopped us. We will continue to serve with strength, love, and the hope that brings new life in the world. With heartfelt gratitude, Dr. Abdallah and your ARC family. So that is a statement here by American Reproductive Centers of Palm Springs. I'll take that statement down, and we will continue to talk about this incident here. Possibly we get a press conference today, maybe. I haven't seen any indication that anyone plans to speak, though I think somebody will. But we'll keep this on here, this live feed here, as we gather up information about this terrible incident. 11 a.m., Palm Springs. Who's the suspect? Didn't believe in fertility, or is it one of those anti-abortion persons that mistakenly thought this was an abortion clinic? Is that what we got going on here, or we got just some wackadoodle out there, or was there another target and it just happened to go off there coincidentally? I don't think so. I think this place was the target. Could have been a former employee, could have been somebody that worked there prior, someone that had business dealings with there. Reading something here. Theories and speculation. Someone that actually had prior business dealing with this place, wasn't happy with the results with embryos or anything like that. That could be a scenario, right? Could be somebody that didn't get the services they paid for or thought they were going to get. What do you think? Could it be an issue between a husband and wife and embryos? One wanted them, one didn't. Things like that. Court stuff, maybe some sort of court prior issues with whoever did this, and they just were mad. We'll see. Magnolia says, I think it's a man whose wife left him and then destroyed their embryos. I mean, there's a lot of scenarios here of, who could have done this. Religious zealot, somebody far to the right, far to the left, something like that, some sort of fringe person that would do this. Who would do this at this type of clinic? Assuming that this clinic was the target. But I think we're all in the consensus that they were targeting this specific place. All right, we got no more information from the Post. At least one dead after explosion. Blows up the fertility clinic in Palm Springs, and FBI probes possible intentional act of terrorism. So they're investigating as its form of terrorism. Here's the thing, though. If it's an act of terrorism, is there a network out there? Or are there more? You saw the clips and videos earlier. We saw bomb-sniffing dogs wandering around that area. The handlers were all over the place, so they're probably checking to see if there's any other bombs planted, any other potential targets. Of course, you would think that they would try to identify whoever did this. They probably know the identity of the person already, and I will say that because you have a vehicle, you can clearly get the VIN numbers off the vehicle, right? And or check the street surveillance before this incident happened, do a license plate reader, cross-reference the license plate, find out who owns the vehicle. I think authorities, you would probably think they move lightning fast when it comes to this, and it's safe to assume that whoever did this, FBI is probably at their door right now. Probably even secured a warrant already, Get a magistrate judge to sign off that warrant Saturday afternoon, boom, at the person's house. It's safe to assume they know the identity of this person. Well, will we ever know the identity? Will we ever find out who actually did this? It's a great question. It's a great question. Sometimes, when an FBI takes over these investigations, they're very tight-lipped about, who these people are. But this is also a local case. This is a federal case, but I think feds have overtaken this investigation. So one dead. Numerous people hurt, by the way. So let me scan around here and try to get some more information. KESQ, that was channel 3. We played a couple interviews out of channel 3. The ATF and FBI have responded to the scene. They also say Governor Gavin Newsom has been briefed. Palm Springs Police Chief Andy Mills confirms that one person was killed in the blast, and it appears to be an intentional act of violence. PSPD, Palm Springs Police Department, is in a unified command for the explosion at 1199 North Indian Canyon. The blast appears to be an intentional act of violence, and the blast fields extend for blocks with several buildings damaged, some severely. Assistant Director Davis of the FBI is on scene working closely. So we have the Assistant Director Davis of the FBI. The agents and officers on scene will make a determination as to who takes the investigated lead. There has been one fatality. The person's identity is not known. That's what they put out. And they just put this out shortly ago, folks. If residents find potential evidence, leave it in place and call the non-emergency number. Agents or officers will collect the evidence. Our first priority is to make sure the scene is safe from our community. Thank you for your patience. The incident appears to be isolated. ABC7 in Los Angeles cited an unnamed law enforcement source reported that 5 people were injured in the explosion, and the person who died was the suspect in the blast. All right. And then we had that statement. All right. So U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, U.S. Attorney puts out a statement. So U.S. Attorney, FBI, ATF at the scene. Seems like this is a Fed thing. We are aware of the explosion that occurred this morning in Palm Springs. FBI is on the scene, and we will be investigating whether this was an intentional act. We will release as much information as possible once we are able to confirm details. The FBI posted on social media, is responding with police and fire partners to the scene of an explosion on North Indian Canyon Drive. That's the location you see here in the general facility. I don't know if this is actually North Indian Canyon Drive. There's other roads around there, but this general vicinity. FBI assets being deployed, including investigators, bomb technicians, and an evidence response team are at the scene. Please contact local authorities for safety precautions in the area. Nicole Lozano, spokesperson for ATF in Los Angeles, says ATF were en route to the scene. We have no solid information at this point and don't want to speculate. The spokesperson for the ATF said, once we get our agents there, we will be better prepared to respond to questions. Several viewers heard loud explosions in the area. We've played a couple of those witnesses. Authorities request that residents stay away from the area so that emergency crews can work on the incident. Images from viewers showed damage at several nearby buildings, including Desert Regional Medical Center, Denny's. Oh my goodness, and a damaged Denny's. I love Denny's. I love myself a grand slam. Denny's and Palm Springs liquor store. I'm not into liquor stores, but Denny's, it injured Denny's. I love myself some Denny's. Some places don't have Denny's anymore. Details remain limited. So there we go. Oh, the governor's office. Governor Newsom put out a statement. The governor of California, Newsom. You know who Gavin Newsom is. I've been briefed on the explosion near the fertility clinic in Palm Springs. Jen and I are keeping everyone affected in our hearts. The state is working closely with local and federal authorities as the investigation unfolds. Please avoid the area. Desert Regional Medical Center, which was also affected here, put out a statement themselves. On Saturday morning, an explosion occurred at an unaffiliated office building across the street from Desert Regional Medical Center. Hospital staff is cooperating with police as they investigate the calls. Our emergency department remains open and our hospital is fully operational. So they ain't shut down the hospital. The Denny's signs have fallen off. Oh, I love Denny's. I love Denny's. I love Denny's. Denny's is spot on. Denny's is open late. Got a lot of boots on the ground at Denny's, man. Go in there in Denny's and get yourself a hot meal. They got great meals. All types of meals. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, Denny's. Good. We are temporarily asking the skillet. You ever get the skillet at Denny's? Pretty good. We are temporarily asking visitors to refrain from coming to the hospital as police have limited access to the road in front of our campus. So the hospital's still open, right? Hospital, Desert Regional Medical Center. They said some windows were broken in the medical office building directly facing the explosion. Hospital operations have not been affected. All right. So we're getting a lot of statements from different entities centered around what we have here in Palm Springs. I'm looking around to see if I can get some additional information. This is a current live scene. We are live. Looks like they got the crime scene tape and stuff on. Will we get a press conference today? Not sure. I hope. We love our press conferences. We love openness and transparency on the channel. Hopefully we'll get something out of this, get some information so we can relay it. But this is scary, folks, because, you know, as we discussed, wackadoodle packs their vehicle up with explosives, most likely just drives to any entity because they have a personal gripe or they're thinking on that issue. It could be whether it's an abortion clinic or a hospital or whatever, a place of business that someone might not agree with or have a gripe, and they literally could just set a bomb off, which is very, very scary because none of us would get warning. You could be walking and boom, next thing you know. I mean, it is very, very scary. We'll find out why this person did this. And of course, you know that we will, on JLR Investigates, share the mugshot or share a photograph of the suspect. But sometimes when you got things like this, something tells me It's probably somebody that hasn't necessarily been in trouble with the law before. It's probably some, I would say it's probably my profile of this, probably somebody in their 40s or 50s, I would say. Maybe some sort of person, maybe somebody evil scientist, like a mad scientist. Maybe the villain, like a villain type in the movie Speed, you know, with Keanu Reeves, the movie Speed, the bomb maker, something like that. Some sort of man that is just tired of the world and just wants to do this and go out with a bang. Because expecting, you know, assuming that the person that did this know they were on a no return mission. A chemist, a mad chemist, weird science, an evil villain, Dr. Evil, you know, something like that, right? Something like that. We'll find out for sure. Now, you know, I don't know if this is a Democrat Republican thing. I don't know if I'm not so sure about that, but we'll see. I'm sure whoever did this probably left a lot of clues on their social media. But here's the thing: what I don't like about withholding names, or when the name doesn't come out quickly, it gives the feds and local authorities opportunity to purge and get rid of their social media accounts. So by the time they do release a name, no social media presence, you know. They probably know who did this at this time. I would think so. It's not rocket science. Check the license plate readers of the vehicles all over the place. You know, we live in an Orwellian society. There's license plate readers everywhere in Palm Springs. Matter of fact, let me put the address. I bet you there's surveillance cameras all over the place, particularly on the road at the red lights. License plate readers all over the place, for sure. And, you know, they know, they go to the city. That's why most cities are designed that way nowadays. So they know who comes in and out of a city, in a community. You're not going to come into Palm Springs and they not be able to identify your vehicle. It's just not going to happen. I don't know what happens to the feed here. Stay with me. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. Stick with this here. Or unless the feed went away. So they had aerial feed. Maybe they... Nope. We got something, Magnolia? Yep. All right. Hold on. Stand by. We'll see what we have. But yeah, it's pretty scary, folks, when these type of things happen. Maybe this went away. Maybe it not. Come on in. I don't see anything indication that they're doing a press conference at this time. I don't see it yet. But we'll see. In the meantime, keep your comments coming. I'm reading your comments here. Denny's around here. We're nasty. Anybody hurt? Looks like one person dead, 5 injuries, according to ABC7. ABC7 got the chopper up in the sky, but they ran out of gas. Probably takes gas. Here's some more videos.
Hi there, y'all.
Here.
Tori King with News Channel 3. I'm here at the scene of an explosion in downtown Palm Springs. You can see I'm along the 1100 block of Indian Canyon. The American Reproductive building, or something inside the building, did blow up. We've got fire on the scene, Palm Springs Fire Department on the scene. We also have the sheriff's office on the scene, several police vehicles. They have shut down the sidewalks and roads leading in and out of here. So Indian Canyon along this area is shut down. It happened right across the street from Desert Regional. People are being asked to stay away, so you cannot come in this area and see an up-close view because they are asking people to leave. Still very much an active situation. I'm going to be on scene all afternoon, and we will give you the very latest as soon as we get it. Be sure to be following KESQ.com. Sign up for our push alerts, sign up for our email alerts, and make sure that you are following us because we are here on the scene right now.
Now, this doesn't appear to be an accident. No way. These aren't accidents. You know what's crazy? One day we might even forget about this. It'd all be forgotten. After Monday, we might never hear of this. This is like right after it happened. It kind of shows you the smoke and everything in the area. That's crazy. Now, I haven't seen any footage of the actual thing going off, but there could be some footage when this thing went off by nearby ring cameras. So this was a little bit
When should
earlier.
we
I'll
get
just
the
play this clip
opening
from the
of
news
your-
reporter.
Are you ready? Are we on?
Yes.
Hey everybody, David Reese right now. You can see over there.
Yeah, so I spoke with a fire official that told me the following information. Called explosion. When I asked him where the explosion was, he said it was right outside of the I asked if an explosion of this magnitude happened at some ground levels. He said absolutely not. So it looks like it could be some sort of foul play from their best assessment preliminarily. As you can see, there are windows blown out all the way down the street, hundreds and thousands of feet away. So this was a massive explosion. That task force that we just saw walking into this damaged area is a task force for search and rescue for missing persons. They have there are multiple missing persons at this point. We don't know their status, if they are missing because they ran away, or if it's potentially for worse and more dreadful causes. But that is
I'm on Facebook Live with them. It's David Newendorf, by the way. Well, hang on. Caitlin just got information, and she's on Facebook Live. She got pertinent information. Okay, bye.
So let's set the scene for you again. Expound uptown Palm Springs, north of downtown Palm Springs. A massive crime scene has been set up in a containment area, if you will. David, you can pan over there. So we're on Indian Canyon. Palm Canyon, which is the other main avenue into town. That's
what's fun.
That is also amazing. I am learning from friends who have been in this area early this morning. Actually, the damage is worse on the backside of the building. The entire back of the building is collapsed. And so when we can't get back, we can see all the crime scenes. It's very difficult. They have moved us off of hospital property because
We had like 500 earlier. That's pretty good for social.
Hey everybody, David Reese here. We're on Facebook, coming to you live from Desert Regional Medical Center in Palm Springs. So what time is it? I don't even know what time it is. About 11 o'clock this morning. Reports began coming in of some type of an explosion in this area. We now know it's at an office building directly across the street over my shoulder. Can you step over here, David? I don't know if you can get over here, but you can see there's helicopters flying over here. There's a tremendous response here. There are windows blown out all up and down on the buildings facing the street here, but down here it's directly across the street really from the main entrance to Desert Regional Medical Center. There is a reproductive health building over there. The entire front of it is blown out, and we believe that is where the explosion took place. I want to emphasize we don't know anything about why or what, but I can tell you from the police response here, it looks like there's great concern this may have been a bomb, but we do not have that confirmed. We just know right now that there's been a large explosion in front of Desert Regional, but not at Desert Regional. It's across.
All right, we played him already, so that was a repeat. So we've been looking to see if we could get a press conference or any other additional information, but I don't see anything else on. I've been scouring around. All the feeds went off. Monk Media just went out there to do the reports. Looks like investigation is underway. If they give a press conference or any other additional information about this terrible incident that happened in Palm Springs, we'll share on the channel. But I don't see any other new information. I think we're up to speed. Now we just want to know who did this and why. Who's the suspect? Why did an individual decide to do this? And also I want to know a little bit about the planning and the preparation and also the explosives. What type of explosives was used in this? All right, folks, thanks for spending time with me. Let me know what you think in the comments, in the chat. We cover true crime 24/7, 365. Never did I ever think that this would happen. You never know what you get every day. Crazy stuff happens every day. Something strange and bizarre. And wow. Stay safe out there. If you see something, say something. Stay vigilant. We'll talk soon. Thanks for watching, everyone. JLR Investigates.